Hello boys and girls, welcome to the Math Club. In this video, we're going to talk about index laws. Question 7. Simplify these expressions. Write each one as 1, a negative power, and 2, a fraction. So we're going to simplify them, and then at the end we're going to write the answer as a negative power and as a fraction. Let's take a look at the first one here. Here we have 6x power of 7 divided by 2x power of 9. Now, when we have a question like this, we have to focus on the steps of answering this question. First, we take a look at the coefficients, we answer them or solve them, and then we solve the variables together. That's the idea of answering a question like this. So first we work on the coefficients. So 6 divide 2. And 6 divide 2 equals what? Very good. Equals 3. That's the first step. And then we take a look at the variables. We have x power of 7 and x power of 9. Now we're going to divide these. So x power of 7 divide x power of 9. And when you divide the same base numbers or same base variables, it means the answer will be the same base variable, which is x. And then the power will be subtracted. Because we are dividing, it means we're going to subtract the powers. So the power will be 7 minus 9. So we write 7 minus 9 like this. So this is the power here, 7 minus 9. And 7 minus 9, as we said before, we're going to take the sign of the bigger number, and then we're going to subtract the numbers. So 3x power of 7 minus 9. 7 minus 9, it means we take the negative, and then we subtract them, it's going to be negative 2. So the answer will be 3x power of negative 2, like this. Now, this answer is a negative power answer. So this one, 3x power of negative 2, is a negative power answer. Now, if we want to turn this into a fraction, we understand that 3 is multiplied by x power of negative 2. It means we can turn the x power of negative 2 into a fraction, as we learned before. Because we understand before that a negative power means what? It means 1 over. It means 1 over, like this. Because we studied this before, that the negative power means 1 over, or a numerator of 1 over. And then we take x power of 2 and we put it down. So x power of 2, like this. X power of 2. And then the whole fraction is multiplied by 3, because the one we solved is only this one. So only x power of negative 2 here means this one. So we multiplied by 3. So here we say 3, we put it here, 3 times 1 over x squared. Now, when you multiply, you're going to multiply the numerators first. And the 3 here, it's a whole number, so the denominator will be 1. The denominator will be 1. You have to focus on all of these information because they will help you to answer the question. Now, the 3 is multiplied by the 1 because numerators are multiplied by each other. So the answer will be 3. And then in the denominator, we have 1 times x squared. So the answer will be x squared, or x power of 2, like this. And then we put a fraction line to show that this is a fraction, like this. And this is the final answer as a fraction. So as we said, we showed the steps to put the answer in a negative power answer, and then we turned it into a fractional answer. Now, let's move on to the next one. We're going to do 56y divide 7y power of 8. We're going to follow the same steps. First, we're going to work on the coefficients. So first, 56 divide 7. 56 divide 7. And the answer will be 8. The answer will be 8. So we're going to put 8 here. 8. And then y power of 1 divided by y power of 8. And any variable that hasn't got any power on top of it, it means the power is 1. The power is 1. Now, y power of 1 divide y power of 8. We're going to do the same idea. It's going to be y, because they have the same base numbers or the same base variables. And then we're going to subtract the powers. So the power will be 1 minus 8, like this. And then at the end, 8y. So 1 minus 8, we take the sign of the bigger number, which is negative, and then we subtract the numbers, and the answer will be 7. So the final answer will be 8y power of negative 7. 8y power of negative 7. Now, this is an answer with a negative power. Now I'm going to turn it into a fraction. Same steps that I did here. First, I know that 8 is multiplied here by this one, so I'm going to work on y power of negative 7 alone. So y power of negative 7, I'm going to take the negative power and turn it into a 1 over, or a fraction. So here we have 8, like this, and the 8 is multiplied by 1 on top, or the numerator, and then the denominator will be y power of 7. Y power of 7, like this. Y power of 7. Focus on the steps of turning a negative power into a fraction. Now I'm going to write the fraction line so I can see it. And the 8 is multiplied by this. And as we said here, that any whole number has a denominator of 1. So I'm going to write it so I can multiply them by each other. So 8 over 1 multiplied by 1 over y power of 7. Now we multiply the numerators. So 8 times 1 is going to be 8. Very good. And then we have what? We have 1 times y power of 7, and it's going to be y power of 7, like this. Y power of 7, like this. Okay. Now, after doing this, we're going to do what? Yes, put it in a box, like this. And we're going to say that this is the answer as a negative power, and this is the answer as a fraction. And this is how you answer a question like this. Now, let me show you a different types of questions for the same question. Now, questions sometimes come in that way, in which the numerator is smaller than the denominator. Now, we're going to follow the same steps. First, we're going to work on the coefficients, and then we're going to work on the variables. So here, first we work on the coefficients. When we divide 7 over 21, focus on having a smaller numerator, means you're going to have a fraction as an answer. So when you do this with a calculator, it will simplify this 7, and it will divide it by 7, and the answer will be 1. And then it will divide the 21 on the same number, which is 7, and the answer will be 3. So it will give you a fraction like this, 1 over 3. So first thing we did, we solved the problem of the coefficients, and we got 1 over 3. So we write it here, 1 over 3. 1 over 3, like this. These are the coefficients. And then we have the variables. Now with the variables, we have p power of 8, and it's divided by p power of 12. We're going to follow the same steps because we have the same variable. It means we're going to write it like this, p, and then we're going to subtract the powers because we're dividing. So 8 minus 12. 8 minus 12, like this. And then we're going to follow the same steps. So 1 over 3, like this as a fraction. 1 over 3. And then when you subtract 8 minus 12, so we're going to take the sign of the bigger number, which is 12. So the answer will be negative. And then 12 minus 8 will be 4. So the answer is like this, 1/3 of p power of negative 4. Now you can take the p and multiply it by the 1, and you can write the answer like this. So it's going to be p power of negative 4, like this, because the p power of negative 4 is multiplied by the numerator, so it's going to be in the numerator part. And then all of this is divided by 3, like this. And here we got what? We got the answer as a negative power. So this is the answer as a negative power. Now we're going to turn this into a fraction. We're going to turn it into a fraction. Now to turn it into a fraction, we notice that the third is multiplied by p power of negative 4. So we're going to turn this into a fraction, and then we multiply it by 1 over 3. So to turn this into a fraction, first we say that the negative means what? It means 1 over. or 1 in the numerator. So we have 1 like this over. Okay, we put a fraction line like this, and after removing the negative part, we end up with p power 4, so we write it in the denominator. So it's going to be p power of 4. Good. Now this one is a fraction, and here we have a fraction multiplied by it, so we're going to multiply them by each other. So we multiply numerators. 1 times 1 is going to be 1, and then 3 times p power of 4, we have 3p power of 4, like this. Now let's remove this on top a little bit. Yes. Now this answer is the answer as a fraction. So we found the answer as a negative number and or negative power, and we found the answer as a fraction. This is the answer as a negative power, and this is the answer as a fraction. Now we're going to do the same with this question. First, we're going to work on the coefficients. Same idea, because the numerator is smaller than the denominator, so the answer will be a fraction. So here, this one's going to be simplified. So divide 9, both of them. Divide 9, divide 9. So the first one, divide 9, is going to be 1. And the denominator divide 9 is going to be 5. So the fraction will be 1 over 5 of the coefficients. And then we work on the variables. Here in the variables, we have q power of 1 divide q power of 11. Now, q power of 1 divide q power of 11. So same idea. This one, because it doesn't have a power, it means it's 1. And we use the same variable and we subtract the powers. So the powers will be 1 minus 11. Same idea. I'm going to take 1 over 5. And then here we have q power of 1 minus 11. So the answer will be, very good, q. And we're going to take the sign of the bigger number, which is 11. So negative. And then we subtract them. It's going to be 10. Now, here, as I said, we can take the q and multiply it with the 1 because it's in the numerator part. So this one will be multiplied here. And the answer will be q power of negative 10, like this, negative 10. Okay. And in the denominator part, we have 5. So this one is 5. So the answer as a negative power is going to be q power of negative 10 over 5. That's the answer as a negative power. Now we're going to turn it into a fraction. So here we already have the fraction, and then we're going to turn this into a fraction. So q power of negative 10, we're going to follow the same steps. We're going to take the negative here, turn it into 1 in the numerator. So it's going to be like this, 1 over. Here we have q power of negative 10. The negative became 1 over, or 1 in the numerator. And then we left q power of 10. So here we have q power of 10, like this, q power of 10. Now we're going to take the two fractions, this one, and multiply them by each other. So 1 times 1 is going to be 1. And then in the denominator, we have 5 times q power of 10. So it's going to be 5q power of 10. And the power is only on the q, not the 5. Now we put a fraction line. And this is the answer as a fraction. So we found the answer as a negative power, and we found the answer as a fraction. And this is how you answer a question like this. Focus on this. If you have two coefficients divided by each other, if the numerator is bigger, it means the answer will be a whole number. If the numerator is smaller, it means the answer is going to be a decimal or a fraction. And this is how you answer a question like this. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.